coronavirus has continued to raise its ugly head as the deadly virus accounted for 21 more deaths. Kathmandu Valley remains a COVID-19 hotspot, while the movement of the people during Dasai festival is likely to aggravate the scenario amid reports that over 100,000 people left the valley this week. The onus therefore lies with the people to celebrate the festival more responsibly than ever before. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the headlines of the hour. The Indian intelligence agency RAW Chief Goyal wraps up Nepal visit. Top brass leaders express reservations over Premier Oli's meeting with the RAW chief. Corruption watchdog CIAA fails to proceed further investigation into two high-profile corruption cases involving ministers. Foreign television channels barred from broadcasting advertisements in Nepal today onwards. Clean feed era begins. And Sunrisers Hyderabad defeats Rajasthan Royals by 8 wickets in the Indian Premier League to keep its hopes of reaching the playoffs alive. The death toll from novel coronavirus has climbed to 812 with 21 deaths reported. Likewise, 3,637 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in the country in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of coronavirus cases has climbed to 148,509. According to the Health Ministry, 15,255 swab samples were tested, taking the test tally to over 1.35 million. 1,552 cases were reported from the federal capital in the past 24 hours, as Kathmandu district alone confirmed 1,283, while Lalitpur reported 157 and Bhaktapur witnessed 112 cases. 3,215 individuals registered full recovery in the past 24 hours, taking the national recovery tally to 102,820, as the recovery rate stands at 69.2%. According to the Health Ministry, there are over 44,000 active cases in the country at the moment, with 13,339 in isolation centres and 31,538 in home isolation. 3,751 individuals are in different quarantine centres across the country. The ministry has informed that 77 patients are receiving treatment with ventilator support, while 290 are in intensive care units. Leaders of the ruling Nepal Communist Party have expressed their serious reservations over the meeting between Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Indian intelligence agency RAW Chief Samantakumar Goyal, terming it as inconsequential.
Nepal has vehemently protested against Indian move to publish new political and administrative map comprising Nepalese territory of Limpiadhura, Kalapani and Lipu Lake ever since the Indian side constructed a road track connecting its land with Tibet through the encroached Nepalese territory. India, which has been overlooking Nepal's repeated initiatives on both political and diplomatic level to resolve border issues out of the blue, has sent a 9-member team led by Chief of its intelligence agency RAW Samantakumar Goyal on Wednesday. RAW Chief Goyal, who had landed in Kathmandu on a chartered flight, met with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on the day of his arrival before wrapping up his 22-hour visit on Thursday morning. According to a statement issued by Prime Minister's press advisor Surya Thapa, RAW Chief Goyal expressed India's stand of maintaining friendly relations between Nepal and India to resolve issues prevailing between two countries through dialogues and to give continuity to the mutual cooperation. Meanwhile, the intra-party dispute in the ruling Nepal Communist Party heated up with the arrival of RAW Chief at a time when relations between Nepal and India had further soured on border and land issues. Leaders from the ruling party itself have commented that the meeting between Premier Oli and RAW Chief Goyal was beyond national dignity and diplomatic protocols. Likewise, disgruntled leaders from the ruling party criticized Prime Minister for ignoring directives from the party's standing committee to sit for a dialogue with India to settle the issue at political and diplomatic level. Experts opine that the recent meeting of Premier Oli with the Indian intelligence chief is likely to add fuel to the fire in the ongoing intra-party dispute of Nepal Communist Party.
Moving on, the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority CIA has not proceeded further investigation into two high-profile corruption cases involving former ministers. The failure to pursue an investigation into the purchase of wide-body aircraft of Nepal Airlines and commission bargaining during the procurement of security printing press has not only covered up suspects, it has also led to questions on the role of the anti-graft body itself. The then Communication Minister Gokul Baskota was forced to step down on 20th of February earlier this year after an audio tape where the minister was heard bargaining 700 million rupees for the purchase of security press was leaked. The committee had instructed the corruption watchdog to probe into the case following the resignation of Minister Baskota. However, the CIA informed the Public Account Committee under the Parliament that it lacked enough proof to support the charges, given that one of the prime suspects, Vijay Mishra, involved in the scandal was out of contact. Likewise, the corruption watchdog informed that the committee that it could not carry out investigation into the wide-body aircraft scam, citing that the commission amount provided by the manufacturing company was still unclear. As the CIA has remained reluctant in investigating into high-profile corruption cases with possible embezzlement of hefty amounts, it has supported the general understanding that the anti-graft body does not want to probe big corruption scandals, while its role has also been largely dubious. The authority is a constitutional body responsible for investigation into corruption cases and bringing the perpetrators to book. However, the authority, as experts say, has lost its credibility with the slack approach towards the high-profile corruption scams. Foreign television channels will not be allowed to broadcast advertisements in Nepal today onwards following the government's decision to implement clean feed policy. The government took the decision based on the Advertisement Regulation Act 2019, according to which foreign television channels are required to be aired in Nepal without advertisements. The act was endorsed last year, while it has taken 1 full year for its implementation. Speaking at the press meet yesterday to inform the cabinet's decision, government spokesperson and Communication Minister Parvat Gurung said the decision was historic. The government has formed advertising board led by Joint Secretary at Communication Ministry Dilli Raj Sarma to implement and monitor the Clean Feed Act. Meanwhile, the cabinet has decided to lease government land for education and health sectors and forest land to construct local infrastructure and roadways. Likewise, the government has approved foreign policy and guidelines for purchase of paddy at minimum support price. The government has authorized the Finance Ministry to accept subsidized loan worth 24 billion rupees from the World Bank. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Panchthar what preventive measures should be adopted against coronavirus while travelling in public vehicles during the time of festival. Before we take a short break, let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
चाडबाडको समयमा चाहिँ आफू कसरी सचेत हुन्छ भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ आफैले चाहिँ अलिकति सचेत हुनुपर्छ।
यात्रा गर्दाखेरि सकेभर घरबाटै खानेकुराहरू बोकेर गन्तव्यसम्म पुग्ने गरी बोक्नु पर्यो। अर्को सार्वजनिक शौचालयहरू प्रयोग गर्दाखेरि अलिकति सावधानी अपनाउनु पर्यो।
सकभर नहिँदा राम्रो चाहिँ विकल्प हुन्छ।
धेरै भिडभाड छ भने त्यो गाडीमा त्यो दिन नजाने बरु अर्को दिन चढ्ने।
सामुन्ने रहेर नबोल्ने,
दूरी कायम गरेर यात्रा गर्दाखेरि धेरै कुराहरू बच्न सकिन्छ।
यात्राभित्र पनि धेर हल्ला बोलचाल नगरिकन सामान्य रूपले बस्ने।
4 जना बस्ने सिटमा चाहिँ 2 जना मात्रै राखेर
मास्कको प्रयोग गर्नु पर्यो। स्वास्थ्य मापदण्डका कुराहरू त्यस्तै गरेर ह्यान्ड सेनिटाइजरहरू पनि एकदम सानो सेसीमा पाइन्छ, त्यस्तोहरू एकदम पकेटमा राख्न सजिलो खालको सानो सेनिटाइजरहरूको आफूसँग राख्ने, त्यसको प्रयोग गर्ने।
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, why has the investigation of the corruption watchdog not been effective in high-profile scandals? Your options are A, power politics, B, unwilling leadership, and C, complicated investigation. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Those are our latest headlines. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.